Okay. In a 2-month period, the McCabe's used 180 units of electricity. Each unit of electricity cost 21 cent. Remember, 21 cent is 0.21 euro, and the standing charge was 21 euro 30 cent. Remember, standing charge is a charge that happens anyway, right? So it's always going to be there. Now, find the total amount of their bill when VAT of 12.5% was added on. Okay, so here's we go, right? First of all, we're going to get the units, okay? So cost of electricity. So units cost is going to be, it's going to cost 980 multiplied by 0.21. Okay, 980 by 0.21, and what we're going to get there, 980 multiplied by 0.21, and we get 205 euro 80 cent. Okay, the next thing we did then is we put down find the total amount of their bill when VAT of 12.5 was added on. Okay, so the next thing we gotta do is we got to put in the standing charge. So the standing charge is 21 euro 30 cent. So we go for 21 euro 30 cent. So 21 euro 30 cent. We're going to add this on, and when we add it on, we get plus 21.3, and now we get 227 euro 10 cent. And what this is 100% of the cost. Okay, now there's VAT cost. Now what we have to do is we have to put on 12.5%, right? So when you add on 12.5%, what you end up with is 112.5%. Okay, and that's for the total bill. So what we gotta do is we gotta find out if 100% equals 227. We can find out what 1% is by dividing by 100, and after we divide by 100, we can find out what 112.5% is by multiplying by 112.5. Okay, so we're going to divide by 100 and multiply by 100 and multiply by 112.5, and what we're going to get is 255 euro 49 cents. Okay, so the answer will be 255 and 49 cents. Okie dokes. Okay, Sylvia has an annual salary of 42,800. Her tax credit is 3,350 and her cut-off rate is 31%. Remember, cut-off rate means you pay 31,000 at 20%. Okay? Now remember, she earns 42,800 minus 31,000, so she earns 42,800 minus 31,000, which is going to get us 11,800 at 42%. Okay? So next thing. Now, calculate how much income tax she pays for the year. Okay? So we're going to calculate income tax. Okay? So what we got to do is we got to put down gross pay. Next thing we're going to do is tax at 20%. Tax at 42%. Gross tax. Tax credits. And then we're going to have income tax or tax payable. Okay? Income tax or tax payable as it's known. Okay? So let's figure this out. Gross pay is 42,800. Okay, tax at 20%. It's going to be the blue bit here. It's going to be 31,000 multiplied by 20 over 100. Okay. Now what we get here is 6,200. Okay. The next one is tax at 42%, which is going to be 11,800 multiplied by 42 over 100. So 11,800 multiplied by 42 divided by 100, and we get 4,956. Okay, the next thing we get is the gross tax. The gross tax is the two of these added together. Okay, so we add the two of these together and we can get the gross tax. Okay, so plus 6,200 and we get 11,156. Now, tax credits is tax we don't pay. We're meant to pay this much, but we have a tax credit of 3,350, 3350. So we're going to take them away from each other, minus 3350, and we get 7,000, income tax of 7,806. Okay. Okay, so next question. A man borrowed €8,000 from a bank at 12% per annum compound interest. He repays 30,000 at the end of the first year, or sorry, 3,000 at the end of the first year. How much do you owe the bank then in the second year? So the way I like to do these ones is I like to put down year 1 and year 2. I like to put down start and finish. Okay, and that way we can sort of segment what's going on here. Okay, now bit of a table going on here. Now what we can do next is we're going to do some workings, right? So he borrowed 8,000 at the start of the year, and then 8,000 we got to add on 12% plus 12%. Okay, so 8,000. Now when you're adding on 12%, it becomes 112%. Okay, so what you can do is you can multiply by 112 divided by 100 because you're looking for 112%. Okay, so 8,000 divided by 100 multiplied by 112, and what you get is at the end of year 1 you get 8,690. He repaid €3,000, so you have to take away €3,000. So 8690 minus €3,000, and what we get is 5960. So at the start of the second year he owes 5,960, right? And it's still at 12%. Okay, so we have to get 12% of this now. So we add on 12%. So it's going to be 5,960. Once again, when you add on 12%, it becomes 112%. So it's going to be multiplied by 112 divided by 100. And what we get here is 6,675.20. 675.20. Question 2. 4,500 was invested for 2 years at compound interest. The rate for the first year was 8% and for the second year was 6%. Find the total interest earned. Remember, total interest earned is how much extra money did you get. How much extra did we get? Okay, so let's do what we did last time. So we have one here, one here. Okay, so start, end, year 1 and year 2. So the start of year 1 was 4,500. Okay, we add on 8%. So when we add on 8%, we get 4,500 multiplied by 108 because it ends up to be 108%. Okay, so 108 over 100, and what we get is 4,860. Okay, now at the start of second year he has 4,860. then we we get 6% added on. So what was 100% now becomes 106%. Okay, so what we had to get is 4,860 multiplied by 106 over 100. And when we do that, we get 5,151.60. Okay, now the interest equals final amount minus principal, or starting amount. So what we get is 5151.60 minus 4,500, and we get is €651.60. Okay, next one. When the exchange rate of €1 is 1.28 US dollars, a person changes $1,920 to euro. A charge is made for this service. What's the percentage charge if the person receives €1,462.5? Okay, first thing to remember is dollars is a bigger number than euro. 1.28 is bigger than 1. So hence, when you turn dollars into euro, you should get a smaller number, okay? A smaller amount of euro. So we're going to get as our dollars are $1,920. So we're going to divide it by 1.28. And when we divide that by 1.28, it should turn into euro for us. Divided by 1.28, and we get €1,500. Now, €1,500 is how much we should receive, but then we have a charge, right? So to find out how much the charge is, we take away the final amount. So take one away from the other. And what we can find now is the charge is €37.50, right? So the charge is €37.50. Now, to find the percentage charge, what we're going to do is we're going to put down charge divided by 1,500, which is the original amount, multiplied by 100 over 1 to turn into a percentage. And what we're going to get is charge is €37.50. We're going to find out what fraction of 1,500 is it, and then we're going to multiply by 100 over 1. By 1,500, and what we get is 2.5%. Okay, 2.5%. During a sale, all items of men's clothing are reduced by 20% off the marked price. If the sale price of an overcoat was $336, what was the marked price? Okay, so marked price is 100%. Marked price equals 100% of the cost. Okay, sale price, what was the marked price? Okay, so marked price, sale price is 80%. 80% equals 336. 1% equals 336 divided by 80. And finally 100% equals 336 divided by 80 multiplied by 100. Or simply divided by 80 multiplied by 100, and we get so the marked price was equal to €420. €420 correct. Okay, and we go again. Now, If the store made a profit of 5% on the cost price of sauerkraut during the sale, what percentage profit did it make on the marked price before the sale? Now, if the store made a 5% profit on the price of sauerkraut during the sale, what percentage profit did it make on the marked price before the sale? Okay, this is an interesting question. So, let's go read the language. Store makes a profit of 5% on the cost price of sauerkraut during the sale. What percentage profit did it make on the market price before the sale? Okay. Okay. So the sale price, okay? Now remember, the sale price is 80% of the market price. Okay, so the sale price is 80% of the okay, so basically what happens is in the last question is that we learned that the marked price is €420, okay? So €430 is the marked price. Okay, and what happens was they sold it for, in the sale, they sold it for €336. Okay, so €336 is the sale price. But we know that this sale price is actually 5% profit on the cost price, right? 5% profit on cost price. So what we can say about the sale price is that the sale price of 336, what we can say is the sale price of €336, €336 equals 105%, remember plus 5% of the cost price. The cost price is how much we bought it for, not how much the market price is how much we want to sell it for. So let's find out what 100% of the cost price is. So to find out what 100% of the cost price is, we find out what 1% is. So we divide it by 105 and then we multiply it by 100, okay? To get 100% of cost price. Okay? And when we get 100% of the cost price, what we get is 336 divided by 105 multiplied by 100, and we get €320. So €320 is the cost price. Now, the question says, gotta read the question very carefully. The question says, what percentage profit did they make on the marked price before the sale? So, profit equals marked price minus cost price. So the marked price before the sale was 420. 420 minus 320 is €100 profit. Okay. Now we have to find out the percentage profit. So the percentage profit is going to be profit divided by cost price multiplied by 100 over 1, which is basically going to get me 100 divided by 320 multiplied by 100 over 1. Okay, divided by 320 multiplied by 100, and that will come to €31, 31.25%, or 31.25%. Okay, now next one. Lizzie bought 0.8 kilograms of pears at €1.90 per kilogram and 1.4 kilograms of apples. The total cost is 4.46. What's the price per kilogram of apples? Okay, so the pears cost is 0.8 kilograms. 0.8 multiplied by 1.90. So 0.8 multiplied by 1.9, and we get is €1.52. Now, get the total cost minus pair cost equals apples cost. Okay, so total cost minus pair cost, which is €4.46, minus 1.52, and what we should get here is €2.49, or sorry, €2.94. Okay, €2.94. Now, to get how many kilograms of apples we have, we got the cost per kilogram of apples. So 1.4 kilograms of apples cost €2.94. So let's divide that by 1.4. So divide this by 1.4 and you find out how much 1 kilogram of apple costs. And 1 kilogram of apples will cost €2.10. Okay, now we're on the next question. A jar with 8 chocolates in it weighs 160 grams. The same jar with 20 chocolates in it weighs 340 grams. How much does the jar weigh on its own? Let X equal weight of jar. Okay. Or what we can do is we can find the chocolates. Okay, so actually we can just leave that one for a second. If we take away the difference between the two of them, the only difference between both weights is the fact that there's 12 extra chocolates. Okay, so 12 extra chocolates. Okay, so the 12 extra chocolates are the account for the extra weight. It's the same jar with the same type of chocolate. Okay, so 304 minus 160 is 144. So there's 144 grams difference, and that equals 12 chocolates. Okay, so 1 chocolate, divide both sides by 12, and 1 chocolate equals 12 grams. So now what we can say is that 8 chocolates is 96 grams, because 8 multiplied by 12 is 96. So 96 plus the weight of the jar equals 160. Therefore, the jar weight on its own is X equals 160 minus 96. X is therefore going to be equal to 64 grams. The jar weighs 64 grams. Okay, so have a quick peek here. Jar weighs 64 grams. Okay, we're in business. Okay, now we're on the next one. Okay, a sum of money is vested at compound interest amounted to €5,342.40 at the end of 2 years. If the interest rate for the second year was 6%, how much was the investment worth at the end of the first year? Okay, so what we're going to do is what we did last time. Just going to make ourselves a little graph. Okay, so year 1 and year 2. We'll see what happens here. Okay, so year 1, year 2. This is going to be start. This is going to be end. Now, the end of year 2, we had €5,342.40. We know that this is added on to, we added on 6% because the interest of the second year was 6%. Okay, so 106%. If we go backwards, what's going to be in here is 100%. The start of year 2 we had 100%, so 106% equals 5342.40. We want to find out what 100% is. So what we do is we can divide by 106, and then multiply by 100. Okay, so if we divide it by 106 and multiply by 100, because that is 106%. Okay, so how much was the investment worth at the end of the first year? What we're going to get is €5,039 62 cents. Okay, we'll just have a quick check of this. We had to round it off to the nearest euro by the looks of it. Just ask to the nearest euro. Interest rate, how much is investment worth at the end of the first year? Okay, so it's 5,036 and 62, which can be rounded off to 5040. Okay. €42.40. 5342.40 divided by 106. Multiply by 100. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Divide by 106, multiply by 100, and what you'll actually get is 5040. Okay, so it is actually 5040. Now, 5040, if you start off year 2 with 5040, that means you ended year 1 with 5040, unless you paid off, but it doesn't say anything about paying it off. Now we know that this is 4,800 here, and 4,800 turns into 5,040. So we have to find out the rate of interest, okay? So to find out the rate of interest, we're going to use our formula, right? Which is our final payment equals our principal, which is our investment, equals 1 plus I to the power of t, where t is time, okay? So our final number is 5040. Our principal is going to be 4,800. We're going to let this here be x, because this will tell us what percentage. It'll be in decimal form, and t is 1. So therefore x is equal to 5040 divided by 4,800. And what x is equal to? X is equal to 1.05. And 1.05 is basically 105%. So x equals 105%, which means that we added on an extra 5%. So the interest is 5%. Okay, that's the end of that one. And that is the end of this video.